Alright guys, so we're going to talk about Joe Biden losing his faculties once again, in my opinion. I've got to say that apparently. But yeah, apparently in my opinion, Joe Biden's going crazy, batshit crazy. But hey, the mainstream media and the industrial complex is doing as much as it can to cover for the old dear. Even Twitter has come out and labeled his video, or Trump retweeted video, as manipulated to... Look, to be honest, it was. They did cut the end of it, where obviously he corrects himself. But that said, he also had 4 goes at it too. Like, in case you guys, let's watch this video. We'll talk about it, and then we'll talk about what actually happened, and then we'll talk about Biden and his losing facilities. And let's just jump into this.
Turn this primary from a campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for, because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection.
2.
Excuse me. We can only reelect Donald Trump.
3. Right, now that's where it stops, right? That's where it stops there. Now, the actual fact of the video is, after that, he then corrects himself and says we can only win elections from Donald Trump, or something like that, right? He does finally get there in the end. But like I said, 4 goes. You know, like... Yeah, and this is obviously not the first or the last time that Joe Biden has obviously made a gaffe. And obviously Twitter, like I said, has gone through and labeled this video as misleading, or doctored, or what do you want to call it, manipulated, or whatever. I think this one, actually, here it is here. Is this the real video? To provide a deceptively new media manipulated media. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, the fact is that they're not going to go through, and they're not going to list that under Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders, you know, Bushevich Burns, or any of these sort of guys, right? These guys are going to be exempt from this manipulated media. It's only going to go one way. We know that for a fact, right? Like, for example, Bernie Sanders has put out a video where it seems that Barack Obama is endorsing him. Where's the manipulated video on that? Obviously, that doesn't happen. So we knew it was going to only go one way. Well, obviously, at the end of the day, he's had another gaffe, and this one's definitely not manipulated as far as I know anyway. If anybody knows any better, let me know. But together, we can win back the House. But you already have the House, Biden. You don't have the Senate. And let's watch this video, because this is a daily basis now. The way he carries on, this happens on a daily basis. God, imagine what it's going to be like after 4 years.
To defeat Donald Trump and restore the soul of the country. And it's a campaign for everyone. Our campaigns for everyone's ever been knocked down, counted out, left behind. And I hope you'll all join us. Together, I think we can win back the House. We're going to keep the House, increase it, and flip the Senate. We talk about that? We're going to do that.
Now, he does correct himself and say, keep the House. But it's another gaffe. It's another gaffe to add to the list. For the guys who might not have been able to hear that, let me bump the volume up a little bit, and we'll go back to listen to it.
Back the House. We're going to keep the House and win back. You'll all join us. Together, I think we can win back the House. We're going to keep the House, increase it, and flip the Senate. We talk about that? We're going to do that.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, he mixes up the House and the Senate again. Look, obviously it's nothing major, but it's another nail in the coffin for, you know, his deteriorating mental faculties. But you know, look, at the end of the day, fucking mosquito bit me. But yeah, at the end of the day, he's going crazy. He's going bonkers. Is anybody not realizing this right now? But anyway. Now, obviously, like I say, it's all right for the media to go through, and they will question Trump's cognitive function. I might have mispronounced that. You know, his cognitive function is in decline, they're claiming. But, Jesus Christ, ask the same question about Joe Biden and you're a conspiracy theorist. Look, at the end of the day, is Trump losing some of his faculties? Maybe, sure. He's, what, 70-something now? He's... Yeah, there's going to be some some damage over the time, of course. But you got to remember is that he's far better than Joe Biden does. And if we can ask questions about Trump's functions as a cognitive function, why can't we ask about Joe Biden? Oh, right, that's right, because Joe Biden's part of the military-industrial complex. And he's a puppet. And that's what they don't want you to ask, because he's a puppet. Joe Biden is someone that can go into this position, they can slot him in, they can sit him at the White House, and they can pull his strings like a marionette and get him to do whatever they want. They can't do that with Trump. They have problems with Trump being in office. But obviously Laura Trump has come out and said voters legitimately asking questions about Joe Biden's cognitive functions. We don't actually hear much from Laura Trump. So let's play this.
I tell you with absolute confidence, we are going to win the Democratic nomination, and we are going to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of this country.
You're not running yet, Bernie.
When it gets to Super Tuesday, it'll be over. Well, it may be over for the other guy. Make no mistake about it. This campaign will send Donald Trump packing.
Super Tuesday turning the 2020 Democratic race into a two-way battle. Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden locked in a fight for the nomination. The Trump re-election campaign says it's ready either way. Laura Trump is a senior advisor for the Trump 2020 campaign. She joins us. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you heard Joe Biden right there. The Democratic establishment thinks he's back. They think they're going to defeat the Democratic Socialist and, in his words, send Donald Trump packing.
Well, I think he's going to be in for a rude awakening. Obviously, nothing is set so far. It's still a two-person game. Obviously, Elizabeth Warren and Bloomberg are still in this thing, so who knows what's going to happen. That said, it seems like if you're a Democrat in this country, your choice right now looks to be a socialist who is a communist sympathizer, or Joe Biden, who I think a lot of folks legitimately, Ed, question his cognitive function in many cases.
What do you mean by that? Because that keeps coming up.
Well,
and the Biden campaign undoubtedly is going to push back and say you're suggesting something, what,
listen,
health-wise?
I'm supposed to be rooting against Joe Biden, and every time he takes the stage, I feel nervous that he's not going to be able to coherently string a sentence together. And if I feel that way, I think Democrat voters out there probably feel very nervous about him. Who would be running the country if this individual really is not showing that he's functioning with all gears moving here? And I mean, I think it's fair to call that out and ask what's going on. He forgets what state he's in. He called it Super Thursday. I mean, but you see this consistently happen, you know?
And there's a lot of big issues that we want to get to as well in the campaign. Your campaign put out a statement. The results only increase the likelihood that no candidate will have enough delegates for a first ballot victory at their convention, which only means more chaos. The media is...
Right, now, as for her talking about his cognitive function, I can't pronounce words, so sue me. At the end of the day, I think it's a valid question. I really, really do. I think people have a valid concern about Biden and him appearing to be nuts. He's getting craft disease. I've said this before. Can't remember a effing thing. People, craft disease. It's the new hashtag. We're going to use the hashtag craft disease. But like I say, look, at the end of the day, I think it's fair to question his cognitive function. He's getting his wife and his sister mixed up. He's forgetting what states he's in. He's calling it Super Thursday instead of Super Tuesday. He's saying we're going to win back the House and then correcting himself. The guy makes more gaffes about, inconsistencies or wrong things or whatever he said, whatever you want to call it, than any other person has. He's said more things wrong than Trump ever has. But the media will sit there and they'll go on about Trump's cognitive function. But when it comes to Joe Biden, oh, well, no, whoa, hold down. It's like Hillary, questioning Hillary's mental fitness, her collapsing, heat stroke. At the end of the day, these were very important questions. This is supposedly the free world leader. This is the guy that's going to run the White House. Is he going to start forgetting where his office is? Is he going to forget if he's declared war on someone? And this is not the first president that's had this in its history. You know, history, look it up. I think it was, don't want to say it was Lincoln. Was it Nixon, Lincoln? One of those guys. Someone like that. I can't remember now. Someone in the comments let us know. One of the previous presidents, you know, they suspected that he might have been not all there for the last, you know, couple of years of his presidency. I forget which one it was. But at the end of the day, obviously, and this stuff like this doesn't help, right? Joe Biden's medical fitness summary released in December did not include a I can't pronounce that word. Did not include a cognitive function test. His doctors admitted it. So, you know, if you want the internet to possibly think that Joe Biden might be going nuts, possibly admitting the most important test that can prove that these are conspiracy theories and nothing more, probably not the best idea. If you're going to admit a test from a health pack or a health release, probably not the best one to admit. I'm just saying, unless there's something for you to hide. So Joe Biden made the news again this weekend after forcing his name in St. Louis and stumbling through his speech in Kansas, where he told the crowd, "We cannot win this re-election." It was another embarrassing and concerning display by Joe Biden. His campaign has filled with verbal gaffes for months now. Right, so it's bad that even Democrats can't ignore it. So Glenn Greenwald, this steadfast will refuse of Dem policies and media elites to address what is increasingly visible to the naked eye, Biden's serious cognitive decline. This is frightening indeed, not only for what it pretends for the 2020, but for what it says about the ease of the snapping them into line. It appears that Biden's campaign is attempting to hide his cognitive state from voters. The Biden campaign released a 3-page summary on Joe Biden's medical history back in December, in which his doctor declared he is a healthy, vigorous, 77-year-old, fully capable of taking on the role of presidency. But the only test that was not performed was a cognitive function test. Here's what the Stuart Joe Osaki, a professor of public health at the University of Illinois and Chicago, who analyzes the longevity of presidents, said about the cognitive ability after reviewing the report. The only test that hasn't been done is a cognitive function test, and Osaki added. But the fact that he's on the campaign trail and meeting a rigorous travel and meeting schedule probably would suffice as a requirement for a formal test of cognitive function. He has said that cognitive tests are typically not required unless problems are detected, like, for example, forgetting what state you're in. What a coincidence! The doctors did not perform a cognitive test that they know he would fail the test, says obviously the Gateway Pundit. Look, at the end of the day, and like people are saying here in the comments, remember when they wanted the 25th Amendment Trump because he was supposedly demented? Like, all the times the media over the years has gone through and supposedly wanted the Trump to be out of the White House because of deteriorating mental state. And here they are literally pushing for Joe Biden to become president of the United States, who is, in my opinion, far worse than Trump ever has. You know, Trump would tweet out covfefe or whatever once every now and then, but Joe Biden's making gaffes every day of the week now. You know, I'm sick of covering them because they're that often. But, you know, obviously this is not the only bad thing. Questions of, and, you know, the mainstream media, they'll sit there and they'll question Sanders about his health after lingering heart attack. Sanders' health linger after heart attack, sorry. But this is the Washington Times. You see the W up the top. You know, the Washington Times has no problems going after Trump, going after Sanders, going after anybody but Biden. Wow, it's like he's a deep state pawn. But anyway. Of course, obviously, Bernie now says that USSR was not a socialist country, apparently. And also, an imam who spoke at Bernie Sanders' rally has said ISIS was somehow connected to Israel and that homosexuality is a disorder. This is the guy that Bernie is actually pushing. This is the guy that's getting up and pushing for Bernie Sanders. I've heard about tanking your own political run, but geez, that really has to take the case. But anyway. But guys, then let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below about Biden. Do you really think he's going nuts, or do you think it's just he's just stuttered? I know I've heard rumors that apparently he stutters, and that's their excuse was no, he just stutters, and he's using a method where he thinks of another word instead of trying to get stuck on that word, right? But as some of you guys know, I play with a gamer, mate of mine, Fez, who stutters. Biden doesn't sound like Fez. Biden sounds like my great uncle, or my grandma, or my grandfather. That, you know, she sounds like he sounds like an old person who's getting demented, who's losing their faculties. You know, like I have concerns about my dad, who seemingly is forgetting things. He'll tell you the same story over and over. Right? When you see you one day, he'll tell you a story, then 3 days later, he'll tell you the same story again. That, to me, is of concern. But he's not forgetting what state he's in. He's not forgetting what you know, he's not calling Zipper Tuesday, Zipper Thursday. And he's not mixing up his wife. So, yeah, if I'm concerned about my dad, who sometimes repeats the same story because there's like a few days between him seeing you. Well, actually, a few weeks, actually. But, like I say, if I'm concerned about my dad, per se, what does it say about Biden? Like, I'm literally like, Dad, here, do a crossword, you know? Exercise that grey matter a little bit. And, you know, Biden can't even name his wife over his sister sometimes. Oh, they mixed me. Oh, they mixed. They turned on me. Oh. No, they didn't. Not as far as I know. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack that like button. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below regarding Biden and his losing faculties, his cognitive functions. I know you guys are going to have fun in the Twitter, in the comments, right? You're going to have fun with this, aren't you? It's pronounced, and then you're going to type it out for me. I know you guys are going to do that. But guys, apart from that, have a great night. Enjoy yourselves. 3 more videos today. Other 2 videos coming up later, straight after this one. So enjoy, guys, and I'll see you in the next video from YouTube. Have a great night and enjoy.